He looked older, smaller. The man who once seemed unshakable was now hooked to machines, eyes closed, breathing slow. I sat in the chair beside his bed for an hour without speaking. When he woke up, he didn't recognize me at first. Then his eyes widened. "You came," he whispered. I nodded. "I'm sorry," he said. It was the first time I'd ever heard him say it. I didn't cry, I didn't yell, I just pulled out my wallet. I opened it slowly and placed the same crumpled $2 bill on his bedside table. It was faded now, worn soft from years of carrying it. "You left me with this," I said, "and told me to find my own ride." His face crumpled. "So I did," I continued. "And it turns out I didn't need you to drive me anywhere. I learned to drive myself." He started to cry, real, ugly tears. He reached for my hand, but I pulled back. "I'm not here for an apology," I said. "I'm here because I don't hate you anymore, and I don't need you to fix what you broke." That was my revenge, not anger, not destruction, peace. He passed 2 days later. I didn't stay for the funeral. I sent flowers with a note. "Thank you for teaching me how to be strong." People told me I should feel guilty, that I should have forgiven him sooner, that I should have done more. But here's what I learned. Forgiveness isn't for them. It's for you. It's so you can stop carrying the weight of what they did. He gave me $2 and told me to leave. I took that money and built a life he never thought I could have. If you're listening to this and someone has abandoned you, let me tell you this. Their choice doesn't define your worth. You can be left with nothing and still become everything. Because sometimes the people who walk away are the ones who teach you how to run. And I never looked back. I was 14 the night my father looked at me like I was a stranger. It was raining. Not the soft kind of rain that makes you want to curl up with a blanket and hot tea. It was the angry, pounding kind that slaps against the windows and makes the house feel smaller. I stood in the doorway of our kitchen, backpack still on my shoulders from school, soaked socks sticking to my feet. "Dad," I said, my voice cracked. I don't know why I expected him to soften. He didn't look up from the table. He slid a crumpled $2 bill across the wood toward me. It was damp, like it had been sitting in his pocket through the whole storm. "Man up," he said. "Find your own ride?" That was it. No explanation, no goodbye, just those 7 words and a bill that wouldn't even buy a meal. I remember staring at the $2. It felt heavier than anything I'd ever held. He'd always been hard. Cold, but this was different. This was final. Mom had left 2 years before that night. She said she couldn't take the silence anymore. The way he would come home, eat dinner without speaking, and disappear into the garage until midnight. I thought staying with Dad was my chance to prove I was strong enough for both of us. That if I was quiet enough, good enough, helpful enough, he would stay. I was wrong. When I picked up the $2, my hands were shaking, not from fear. From something worse, disbelief. Like my brain couldn't accept that the man who taught me to ride a bike, who used to carry me to bed when I fell asleep on the couch, was telling me to disappear. "Where am I supposed to go?" I asked. He finally looked at me. His eyes were tired. "Empty. Not my problem anymore," he said. The front door clicked behind me before I even realized I was walking. The rain hit my face instantly. I didn't run, I didn't cry. I just walked. Because what else do you do when the one person who's supposed to keep you safe tells you're on your own? I didn't know it then, but that was the last time I ever called him Dad in my head. That night I slept under the overpass on 3rd Street. I folded the $2 bill and put it in my shoe like it was something precious. It wasn't. It was the price of being forgotten. But what I didn't know that day was that walking away would be the best thing he ever did for me. Because sometimes the people who break you are the same people who set you free. The first week was the hardest. I learned fast that nobody cares when a 14-year-old says she's homeless. The shelter said I was too young without a guardian. The police said to go home, but home wasn't an option anymore. Home was a door that closed with a click and a man who didn't turn around. I found work washing dishes at a diner after closing. The owner, Mrs. Elaine, didn't ask questions. She just slid me a plate of food and said, "You look like you need it more than I do." I worked for tips and a corner of the storage room to sleep in. I showered in the public library bathroom. I kept going to school because if I stopped, I'd have nothing left that felt normal. Every day I told myself he made a mistake. He'll come back. He'll realize what he did. He never did. 3 months later, I saw him at the grocery store. He was with a woman, laughing, buying groceries like nothing had happened. He didn't see me. I stood behind a shelf of cereal, heart-pounding, holding a box I couldn't afford. That was when it hit me. He hadn't just kicked me out, he had replaced me. Anger came after that. Cold, quiet anger. It sat in my chest every night when I lay on the thin mattress in the diner's back room. I replayed that night in the kitchen 100 times, the way his voice didn't shake, the way he didn't hesitate. I used to think betrayal was loud, screaming, slamming doors, but his betrayal was quiet. It was a $2 bill and a sentence. It was choosing not to care. I started to change after that. I stopped waiting for him to come back. I started building something for myself. Mrs. Elaine helped me get a student ID without an address. A teacher let me use her house for laundry on Saturdays. I worked harder in school, not for grades, but because it was the only thing he couldn't take from me. I got a scholarship to a boarding program 2 states away when I was 16. I left with one duffel bag and the $2 bill still in my wallet. I kept it, not as a reminder of pain, as a reminder of what I survived. College was different. For the first time, people asked me what I wanted, not what my dad wanted, not what was convenient. I studied business. I worked 3 jobs, I graduated debt-free, and I never called him, not once. But the past has a way of finding you. When I was 22, running my own small logistics company, I got a call. It was a hospital. My father had been in an accident. He had no one else listed. They asked if I would come. I almost said no. The old wound opened up instantly. The rain, the door, the $2, but I went. Not for him, for me, because I needed to see him, and I needed him to see me.